Hiya. We were going to have a special guest today, but we wound up with Jay.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
you know, there's only, I'll be the judge of that. What's okay? It's not okay. It's a treat. Today's your birthday.
True.
And I was going to get you a cake.
You were?
Well, I can't touch anybody or anything. So
No, that's true, because I don't want to get your cooties.
Cooties?
Cooties.
Boy, are you what generation are you from?
I'm a child of the 50s.
Yeah, a cooties? What's a cootie? What is that? You know.
That's possible, yeah.
Everybody's mad. Everybody's mad at everybody for everything. I mean, I got up this morning and I said, I'm sorry, mea culpa, and then I began my day.
And it went downhill.
And it went downhill after that. I'm still doing mea culpas. I got my Rhinestone Cowboy shirt on because we were going to talk to Larry Weiss, who wrote Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah, and many other things too. Bend me, shape me.
Yeah.
I tried to get in those positions and the yoga won't let me. Sorry.
Well, this is what happened. That's why he's not with us. He had a car accident. He got bent and shaped. And it was not good. I mean, you know, he said that he was didn't want to be on camera. He didn't want us to see him in his worst light. I said, Larry, I'm here every day and nobody says anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have not broken Zoom yet. So, I mean, if you haven't done it, nobody will.
You know, this is the way it goes. With Jay, you've been on the radio for so long, and radio is all about the sound, nothing to do with the sight. And well, a little bit of it.
A little bit.
But what are these radio stations thinking? Are they thinking that people are actually going to listen to radio and not see a picture?
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
But they have that idea that, in the car, I will admit, you can't really look at the screen.
It's difficult to drive and look at a screen that's over 15 inches, yes.
Yeah, but they have the screens.
And then you miss the Mercedes in front of you, and then you're really in trouble.
Well, they have the screens on the car to back up.
That's true.
On the new models. That's a TV thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I usually just put on some makeup and zoom in on it. Parking is a cosmetic experience now.
Oh yeah.
Now, why did they have that video situation? Because I don't think it's really good judgment. You know, when you back up, you could really have an accident easily.
I don't know. I've used it on my daughter's vehicle, and because I have like cars that are pre-1990. Actually pre-2000. Actually pre-2010. I don't have a car that's very new. And it works. I like it. I like to have that. It's a little bit of extra, you know, just space to be able to see where you are. But my eyesight, my spatial, you know, faculties are still there.
Yeah, well, you're all right. You're not bad for a 50-year-old guy. Is that your birthday today? Is it really?
Yeah. Number. See, everybody's wishing me a happy birthday, even the dog.
Kids and dogs. It works every time. We got to run for office.
I'm 67 in dog years, so I'm really ancient.
Well, I'm continuing to be offensive to some people. I had made a mention that Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben gave us buckwheat. So someone got real mad at that, you know, after they took Gone with the Wind away now. And the number one best-selling video in the whole country right now is Gone with the Wind. So as soon as you tell somebody it's no good or you can't have it, they run out and buy it.
That's right.
This show that we're doing is lousy. It's the worst show ever in history.
And on top of that, it's also the hoarding mentality like we had with toilet paper about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
The same idea. There's not going to be any more Gone with the Wind. Oh, I better buy a copy now.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're
buying 5 copies so they can sell them on the corner to 4 other idiots that need it then.
Well, I think the Gone with the Wind thing is a little extreme, and some of the stuff is a little overboard. You know.
They're going to put some kind of a disclaimer in the beginning of it as you watch it. Now, folks, there are some things in this movie that you might find offensive.
Yeah, like the burning of Atlanta, which is really taking place again right now. Hello? So is that Gone with the Wind? Yeah, you know what's Gone with the Wind? Is Ken and Barbie. Ken and Barbie split up. Ken is now living with G.I. Joe in Chelsea, and they're getting a place in San Francisco. So that's what's changed.
And they're wearing flowers in their hair.
LBGT or LGB, what is it, WLBGT? What's that, LGB? I don't forget what that
I think it's the new Pontiac. I don't know.
I don't know. It's got too many. There's too much to learn.
There is.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't pay this much attention when I had the nuns in school and they were hitting me to learn something.
No.
Why do we have to learn all these things right now? What is it that we have to learn about the millennials and the new society? What is that going to do for me?
Well, for anyone that wants to market to them, they don't like to be yelled at. So car spots that go, $20 down, $20 down today. They don't want that. They want to say, kiddies, we're going to get you a car for $20 down. You heard me correctly. $20 down. No pomp and circumstance, no yelling, no screaming, no nothing.
Why do we have car commercials? Why do we have so many of them? I mean, do you have a car?
I don't have a new car, no.
Well, do you need one? I mean, is this a must-do that you have to go out and buy a car? Is that
if you want to get me one to test for a year, I'd be happy to have one. Yeah.
Well, not where you're living. Where you're living, they're all marching. There's nobody going to be driving a car. You can't even get by the Lakewood Route 9.
No, you can't get. Wait, even when they're not marching, you can't get through that town. So don't get me started.
They use covered wagons there, don't they, for the Hasidic Jews? Yeah. Have we offended everybody yet? I mean, I'm working on it. I want to get because why are we so limited in all of our comments, and yet we're so offensive in our behavior? Everything that everybody's doing on television sucks. It's terrible. It's outrageous. It's over the top. It's mean-spirited. It's evil. It's not good. And yet, if you say something, people find fault with your language.
I know. It's amazing. And even
the F word, and the N word, and the I mean, come on, what is this? We got to drop initials all of a sudden so that we can dance around it. Because if you say the F word, people know what you mean. So
That's true. Actually, there are a lot of meanings there with the F word. The F word has a lot. I mean, there's a whole bit about that. I bet you can use it.
Let me hear it. If you got, I hope you got some material.
No, I'm not a stand-up. Please.
Yeah,
I've been sitting down.
Well, the F word is not really allowed in the language of broadcasting.
No, not.
There are 7 words, and there should be now. The N word is not in there. It's not in there.
The George Carlin bit. Yes.
No, he didn't put it in there. What are you talking about? I said he didn't put the N word is not in the 7 forbidden words.
No,
that's my
not
point.
In that word.
Actually, that's all there is. I mean, are there any other words you're not supposed to use?
Well, now that's an interesting point. That is a word that if you use it in context, telling a story, but now they won't even do that in the news. They'll say he used the N word.
But if you say the N word, everybody knows what you mean. And the word means something.
I go on the corner and I see people using the term for each other. Okay, that's all right. I don't get it.
Well, those are N's. I mean, if you're an N.
Yeah.
I'm a W. What are you? I mean, you got to pick a letter of the alphabet that describes your generosity or your shortcoming or your failure or your ethnicity.
Yes, I mean, I'm a D for Denmark.
Yeah.
That's what I am. And that's a D for dog.
See that the kids are playing in the backyard now?
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah.
We need something for this video. We need something.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to see anything that I'm looking at right now. Kids taking a leak on the dog.
If they had a male,
are you listening to me?
I am. I heard you.
I don't know. I mean, you're going over it like you're not hearing me.
I am hearing. Imagine if you had a female and a male dog there. You could have it right there in the picture. Oh.
Well, usually I have the bird. The bird is benign, Yeah. So what's going on in your life right now for your birthday? What are you going to do?
Well, we're going to have a very nice dinner with our family that's here in New Jersey. Our son and granddaughter and daughter-in-law are in Michigan, so they can't be here. But we talked to them earlier today via video. And it was nice. And, family is everything. Family is pretty much everything.
That's all you got left.
Well, I don't have a career.
Well, I have a news for you. There's a lot of openings right now in broadcasting. No, I'll tell you where they are.
Where?
In the police stations. They're taking now their applicants for police calls.
Calling all curs.
If they can only add some music to it, you're in. Right?
That's true. You know, and yes, that would be brilliant. Actually, all songs that have sirens in it, and there are many, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Well, you know, the Spike Lee movie is about Vietnam.
I love
five
Spike
black
Lee.
guys that were in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
And the soldiers, you know. And they have Hanoi Hannah. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen it, but
Well, you know who she is, right? I mean, that was a disc jockey,
Oh, yeah.
female disc jockey to demoralize the troops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was very sexy sounding, and very much like you, Jay.
Yes.
And she sat there and played oldies because
Yes.
they were new then, and they're not now. Well, you know, the songs like the Jefferson Airplane, who became the Jefferson Starship.
Yeah. Got to Revolution, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you be doing right now if you could have any wish in the world for your birthday? What would you like?
Wow. I would like to own a broadcast facility. I don't care if it was a 5-watt AM daytime station.
You got it. Wait a minute. You got here. This thing I'm on right now.
Yeah.
5 watts. It's
5
yours.
Okay. And then, but you're going to have to let me run it and do everything me.
Be my pleasure.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So what would it be now that you want? You want a broadcast station, right? Is that
yeah,
you want to have a radio
I would probably have music most of the time, but do a talk show as well. So,
what kind of music? Let's define.
Well, I would play the music that I like, and it's not just 60s, 70s, 80s. It's not that at all. I want to hear songs that mean something, songs that matter, songs that have content that most people can enjoy. And there are lots of songs that don't test with an audience. In other words, for example, Aretha Franklin had many hits. Radio generally has only played maybe 5 of them over the years. 5. There's a lot of songs that were hit records that did sell and people listened to on their AM radio back in the day, and they're not played because they don't test well. Which means
what does that mean? Wait. Let's go back a step. What does that mean? How are you going to test something that nobody listens to?
All right. When you test.
Wait, if nobody listens to radio,
well,
how do they have a test of what someone likes or doesn't like? How does that happen?
When there was.
No, let's talk about now. Right now, you want a broadcast station now. You just said test well.
You would have to come to some consensus of what everyone likes. Because
in this society right now, you would come to something that everyone likes. You must really be. Are you on the moon somewhere?
Hey, listen. When we were younger, now you can't equate it to now, but maybe you can. When we were younger, you heard Frank Sinatra, the Rolling Stones, Aretha Franklin, and the Beatles, in that order. And then Dean Martin after that. And if you were lucky, you heard the Singing Nun or Winchester Cathedral. But the theory was eventually you're going to play a song that you like. The problem with that is that was done when there was 1 or 2 stations in a market, whatever the city was, little towns, small towns, or big cities. There were usually 2, sometimes 3 top 40 stations. Now, there are so many different choices. There's rhythmic top 40. There's mainstream top 40. There's eclectic top 40. It's crazy how much it's fragmented. I think the thing that might bring us back together is some form of commonality where it's not black music, it's not white music, it's not hillbilly music, it's not whatever kind of music you want to say. Popular songs. I don't know if after 40 years of cramming it down the throats of an audience that you're not supposed to like all of the songs, you only really like some of the songs. I sound like George Carlin now, but that's kind of where it's at. And
well,
so today,
but this is an old model. You're assuming that people leave the radio on and they don't have fingeritis anymore, but they do. I mean, they don't leave the radio on anymore. Maybe in the shop you leave it on. You know what I mean? Or in the office. Yeah. Not even in the office. What office? People don't go to the office.
Not anymore. And
they play their own music at home.
They do play.
So what's the new model? That's why I'm asking you. I mean, you're going to have a radio station. We're talking good. Now wait. Right. You're going to have a station. You want a radio station. You want to play music and you want to have talk. I asked you what kind of music you would play. What would you play?
I would play pop songs, rock songs, soul songs, things like that, from perhaps the late 50s through about 1980, maybe 81 or 82. Nothing else.
Would you have the hope that people are going to leave that station on because it's so interesting?
Because the theory is that the most amount of people would listen to something if they knew that something they liked was coming on next. We have, like I explained, we have now taught a whole generation or two of people to only pick what you want, thus the curated stations that don't exist. So they curate their own library. If you can somehow get the data of what it is that the people you want to attract actually want to listen to now, then you have a winner. And I'm talking about a narrow span of people born between 1945 and 1962 in some form to get all those people born in. It doesn't mean that they liked the music with the year they were born, but they certainly liked the music that is pop and pleasing to their ears now. It doesn't offend them in some way because it's rap music or because it's country music. You play some country crossovers, the ones that crossed over to pop. You do that. And I think you'd be very surprised at the response that we would get if I were to do that.
Well, you know, when I first began, we're going to use the old model. We didn't have a model. Mm-hmm. We created it, and it was not about the music.
Right.
Not at all. No, it was about the contests.
Yes.
Not the personality. It was about opening a bank when they gave you a toaster, and having a treasure hunt, digging up a city park before they destroyed the statues. But, you know, we went into a place where you gave people a reason to stay tuned, which was not the music. The music was irrelevant. That was something you used to travel to get to the next thing. But it expanded into everybody picking a certain kind of music. And then now, you know, it's all about that. So if you like one kind of music, I mean, that's what XM Sirius is. It's all about channels.
Well, yeah, because you know what you're going to get when you flip on a channel.
Is that good?
You know what you get. It's good for people who only want to hear a certain kind of music. If you know that when you turn on the 60s channel, you're going to hear Hermits, the Rolling Stones, Wilson Pickett, and Motown, and the Beatles. That's what you get.
How about somebody who was just born? They don't want to hear that.
No, but anecdotally, there are younger people who do prefer that music. In conversations I have with even a checkout person at the supermarket, you know, they'll say something, or I'll say, hey, they just played a song I haven't heard in a long time. Well, yeah, I really like this channel. Really? And what do they play? Well, they play a lot of stuff my father likes. Oh, and you like it too? Yeah, some of it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So again, that's anecdotally. That's one person, one, you know, mind. And I think that there is a place to have a variety show. The things that we have done on radio and television, Joey, have been variety shows.
Well, that's why we're not on anymore.
But there's a little this, a little that.
Yeah, there was too little of it.
All right.
No, I'm just joking. Ours has been economy. It's economics. But, you know, that's the whole thing is you're going to play music and you're going to try to find people who have the same taste as you do, or at least you're going to try to find their taste.
Yeah, right.
Or both.
And because I've worked at very big radio stations over the years that are very well thought out and tested, if you will, I know what to play. Again. But wait, but then I know the other songs that can be played in between a giant hit record that you can maybe please them with for another 4 minutes or 3 minutes. And
okay, so you're going to play eclectic music, right? I would prefer to hear new music that's interesting and exciting, not Chubby Checker. I mean, I want to hear something. Not that I don't like him, but I mean, it's enough already with the limbo rock and the twist.
I wouldn't even play the limbo.
Well, rock. You don't dance like that anyway. So what's not relevant? So what's the relevance now? What would be relevant at this point?
It is irrelevant. Yes.
So and hip hop is irrelevant. That's like jail music to me.
Well, to you.
I mean, Oh, it's like being in prison.
Well,
I mean, you
it
can
is.
stick a
That's what they
large
sing
Q-tip
about.
in my ear and keep jamming it. I mean, that's what that is. I don't like it because it has no melody and it has no artistry to it for my ears.
For your ears.
But I'm
and
not the
mine.
average person.
No. But for my granddaughter, my grandson,
Well, that's all they have. Do they have choices?
they do have choices. My granddaughter, my oldest, our oldest granddaughter, likes a little of everything, and
Yeah.
she likes a little bit of hip hop. She likes the pop singers. She likes country, even, and blends that all together in her little playlist, and that's what she likes. So she's curating her own radio station.
All right,
But-
so she creates her own design. It's really actually a boutique
Yes.
way of listening to music
Correct.
and talk. Now you went to the talk part.
Now
How
there's
would you
the
mix
talk.
that? How do you put that together?
Well, that's an interesting thing. I think that I would want to talk about something that people my age would be interested in, not just my physical age, but in my generation, and target that person. Always have that person right here in the front of your mind, that when you're talking into a microphone or looking into a screen like we are, you're actually telling them something that they would be interested in, or that I'm interested in, hoping they would be as well. And I think you can discuss events that way from our point of view, which is much different than a 17-year-old's would be. And invite those other people to call or whatever, if you're going to take phone calls or to take comments afterwards. And then
Why would you take a phone call?
Well, I know you have always.
Because a phone is not. I mean, why do you have to hear somebody tell you something that they know nothing about? I mean, first of all, the education has to be there. You can't research until you search.
Yeah.
And this whole country needs to better start searching. Research is when you go back, and we better search. You know what? We're in the wrong direction right now for what you're talking about. We really are. We're not in a good direction for that.
What do
Because
you
you're not going to get
recommend?
everybody to sit still and agree on anything at this point. Not today.
Okay, then what would you recommend doing then? I'll turn it back to you.
Well, what I would do is what I am doing, which is sit here and go on the thing, and if somebody likes what we're saying, they'll watch it. If they don't watch it, they don't like it. It's okay. I don't care. I don't really care how many people like me. I never did. Why would anyone? I mean, do you go to a dinner party and say I had 8 out of 10 like me? Or, the only thing you like is to get your coat back when there's 100 people in the room.
But that's why when you go to a diner, there are 5,000 things on the menu.
Well, that may be okay, but that's not social. That's serving yourself. But we're talking about social. Radio and television are social.
Yes.
They're something to be shared. That's why right now, if you can't get into an auditorium and watch a ball game or hockey, you can't get into a stadium because we're not supposed to be that close. So wouldn't you think that all the efforts that we have right now and the IQ of this planet is like so far down? It lacks such intelligence, because the first thing that I would do is find out what the hell this virus is.
That's number one.
Find out it's global.
That is
What is this thing, and where did it come from, and how do you get rid of it? That's all there is. I wouldn't have an election right now. It doesn't matter, because no matter who's going to get in that chair right now, they're all going to get heat. Everybody's going to get heat until this is solved. Plus, I don't believe we should have one person running the government anyway. I think there's too many minds. We're separated now, and we have too many self-interests.
Okay.
And if you don't believe me, go to a convention and you'll see.
Is there any person that can bring an entire country together again in a crisis like we've been dealing with?
No.
Is there any one person that can do
No,
that?
not any one person. How could you? Because we're not built that way.
No.
Adam needed Eve. If you look at the biblical perspective, you can't do anything alone. Nobody does anything alone. I'm not doing this alone.
Right.
I could sit here and talk to that camera and be on here all night, and without you
you've done
being
it.
there.
You've done it.
Yeah.
I've turned it
But
on at
I'm not
3 in the
alone
morning.
because I got Frank on the other end, and I'm not alone. I need the technology. I need somebody to do something. Nobody does anything alone. So if that's the case, and we don't do anything alone, then the logic is to say, well, how are we going to all get together and figure it out? And I'm not seeing that. And I don't think it's any one person. It's not an ideology. I don't think it's Republican or Democrat. I think they're both full of crap because all they're interested in is jobs.
So you're talking about changing the way government works from the top down.
Well, yeah, we changed it electronically. Why are we responding in electronics, but we're not responding in real life? There's a question. I mean, if any one of the brilliant people were around, like Edison, I'm talking about the geniuses who gave us this technology. You know, Edison with electricity, Marconi with radio, any one of them, and even Albert Einstein, who had many things figured out, or Tesla. You know, any one of them, they would sit here and they would be appalled by all of this, because we're in a direction where the technology is running the people. The people need to run the technology. You don't need a robot. You need to start thinking, use your head a little bit.
Well, it has to start with education in the home and then in school, if we even have school.
It's abroad. Now, this morning I went for the COVID test, and people at 6 a.m. would get in without an appointment, and they're old. If you're 60 years old plus, you can get in on that first call. Mm-hmm. So I went on that thing this morning. Rude as hell. Old people who know better, who have lived a long life and should be so grateful. We're in a beautiful climate, in a beautiful city that has electricity and air conditioning, and has phones, and has all the conveniences you could think of, including an electric chair if you want to wheel around on one, a golf cart that's propelled. You could everything electronic is underappreciated and taken for granted, including this broadcast right now. This is going through the air. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this morning I watched people who were in that line, and they don't distance themselves, first of all. Everybody did have a mask, with due respect. Because if you don't wear a mask, you're not getting in. And, you know, so people do follow the rules when they can't get what they want. You know, and everybody wants to do a trick and then get a cookie for it. And this is not a trick. It's called life itself.
Where you live in Florida.
They're old.
Yes, they are. But look at all of the other idiots that, I hate to use the word, but people that went to parties, went to this, went to that.
Well, all right, now.
And now your cases are way up again.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, we should not have been marching at this time in history. This is a big mistake, and television could have served it well, but they're too busy selling those damn cars and pharmaceuticals and Geico and Trivago and whatever else is, all that crap they want to load on us when we don't have any money anyway.
We needed to have someone.
We need sanity. Sanity.
Yes.
It's knowing right from wrong and practicing it. It takes practice. You know, it's a new day. Like I have to learn on this equipment here. It takes practice to know this. I'm fighting it all the time because I can't grasp it easily.
Yeah.
And you know, so back to this morning, I'm watching these people in line, and they're arguing with each other, but mostly they're rude to the black people who are running the store. And you know, now you can see on the streets there's a lot of panic going on with the racial issues. This should be the worst time in history if you ever chose a time to be offending a black person. If you ever thought about it at all, which I don't. I'm just saying it. So, you know, I mean, these are things that people don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about anything. They want to talk about crap.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what are we doing? Where's the intelligence? Where's the IQ? You know, I had a station in Philly, which you know, and it was WIOQ. Remember that? And I was going to name it IQ, the source. And the pyramid was the logo for it, because I wanted an intelligent presentation, something intelligent, not this crap that we've been serving everybody just to sell stuff. And all we do is we worry about the market. What market? I don't have a sexy portfolio. I'm lucky that I have a paycheck. You know, if you want a paycheck right now, go become a cop. You'll get one because they're all leaving. Yeah. You know, how can anybody with any respect for another person really condone all that's going on television? It's awful.
Remember,
TV is so guilty right now.
Yes,
they took that film of that choking and that killing, which is terribly wrong. We all know that, and we all know that the cops need to be prosecuted. Everybody knows that, but we didn't need to upset the whole, like her. That's a nice voice. Thank you. We did not need to upset the whole planet just to get justice. That's not. But wait, here's what's wrong. More people are going to die from this virus, perhaps, as we all marched, at all ages and all colors, we all got in the boogie because of TV. It was television, because you saw this thing every half hour, the chokehold. You saw all, and now the Georgia, the guy's been tried on television before he was even in jail. I mean, the audience has become the jury, and television has become the judge. What happened to our society? And so now what I'm saying, now let me give you a bottom line. That's electronics, all right? So that's my case that I said earlier. We're in an electronic world, or I'll get a soapbox and a bullhorn. But you know what we're doing is we are poisoning the whole effort of progress.
Yeah.
We're poisoning.
Yeah. And nobody is policing. Nobody seems to be policing this incessant. If it bleeds, it leads on the news. And
well, because it's run by profiteers. They have nothing in mind except to sell stuff to make money so they can keep their gig and keep their money coming in.
They have an ideology as well, and they want to force feed everyone with it. That's my opinion, and I don't like that. Whatever happened to, here's the news as it happened. Next?
Oh.
No.
It's different now. You see where they're having trouble getting people to watch the newscasts now. That's because they're on all the time. You don't need that half hour or 15 minutes.
No, you don't.
Anymore.
No.
You know, everybody
local television news is in trouble. It just is. It's in trouble.
All of it is, because the news is on all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not even news. No, news spells north, east, west, south. It comes from the four corners of the world. That's where the word comes from.
Right. And
so news is supposed to be the gathering of information in four corners of the world.
Mm-hmm. I started my career as a news stringer, as a news person. It was who, what, where, when, and how.
And don't forget
and
why.
That's what it was.
There
and
were 5 of them.
You did not insert your opinion, subtly even, into the way you wrote that story.
Well, the setup was, as a news editor, would have to have 3 different people corroborate on a story, or it wouldn't fly at all. You needed 3 different witnesses.
Right.
That's why they call it eyewitness news, for the people who actually saw it.
Yeah, confirmation.
Now the eyewitness is someone's phone.
Yeah.
Because they video something, and sometimes they get it wrong.
What infuriates me is when somebody's being hurt. People are so busy taking a picture of it or a video of it to help that person, and that infuriates me.
You want to talk about something of good conscience? Let me put something out here. Let's see how intelligent people are, and let's see how you process this. Is it more important for the chokehold on one person in Minneapolis, or those 2 kids that got killed by their parents and they found the remains? Which one is more offensive to you?
They're equal.
Which one?
Well, as a parent,
you don't have to answer me. It's an object lesson. Don't answer me.
Yeah, I know.
Don't pick one. You'll get
I'm not. No.
I'm just presenting it. I'm presenting it. But you see, there's no lawyers involved.
Yeah.
Yet. Yeah. In the 2 kids.
Oh, there will be.
When the lawyer comes in, then there's the money involved. See, the money is the determination. So what have we done? Bottom line, graduated too many lawyers. Can we change it? No, too late. So what do? You better find a way for them to seek justice and not money. And good luck on that one. Yeah. Even the doctors find a way to get $160 because they're making house calls, but it's video. You get the guy to come to your house on a television camera and let him try to stick a thermometer up there.
No, here.
That ain't going to happen.
Stick out your tongue.
Yeah. That's it. So do you see? I mean, the things I'm talking about are they're you may not like any of it. I'm bringing it all up. This is how you process in your head. Not everybody got a crazy head. I have one.
So we invite anyone to reply to what you're seeing and tell us what you think.
No.
Tell Joey.
You'll be answering phones like the Yankees. Why didn't they win this year? Why aren't the Red Sox playing?
That's not what I'm talking about.
Come on, you don't want comments like that.
Add to the conversation of what you and I have.
Where are you going to add to it?
You can go to the late Joey. You can go to the late Joey Reynolds on Facebook and write whatever you want.
So some jabroni will try to get rid of Facebook. They'll go after him, right? They go after the guy who owns the thing that you brought the news on.
I know many people now who have turned Facebook off.
Why?
Completely, because the views are all over the place and so hurtful and hateful. It's mind-boggling.
Well, we're producing that. You're producing it with the other technology, the other television signal.
Right.
You're asking for it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, yes. So what? And you just asked for it now. You want people to respond to that. I just want to put it out there for thinking.
I have no problem with people responding to what we've just talked about. I have no problem with that. I think it would be healthy to see what they have to say. That way you may know which direction to take this in. And the direction is your commentary. And if they don't like your commentary, fine. If they do, great. That's
a lot of the voices of freedom have been squashed.
Well, this is freedom.
You have to watch Bill Maher and his channel, which is Vice. You got to watch that OAG, which used to be the Arabs channel, I think it was. Is that the one that?
Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean.
I mean, I don't know who to. I have to play Who Do You Trust?
Yeah,
I don't know anymore.
We should bring it back. Who do you trust?
All these game shows, man, they're all back.
Put a picture of Walter Cronkite up there. Put a picture of.
Do you know what he was all about? Do you have any idea about Walter Cronkite besides the newscasts on the air? Do you know anything at all about him? Would you like to hear about him?
I bumped into him once at an NAB convention. I really don't know much about the man.
What was he about? What do you think his passion was?
I think it was voting.
No. Voted and Chappie, but that's not what it was.
What was it?
It was about separation of church and state. And Jim Lehrer, who was McNeil Lehrer, don't forget, his daughter was our intern on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Lehrer's daughter.
Yeah.
And he wrote a play when he had his heart attack. Jim Lehrer wrote The Chili Queen. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I met Walter Cronkite. And then I went to his meetings, which he had for church and state separation, because he believed there should be a separation. Everybody has something that they believe in. Tom Brokaw.
Okay, no, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Well, yeah, because these are the interesting things in life. They're the things that are interesting. Not the end result is not the interesting thing to me.
He did not use that pulpit that he had.
Right, correct.
His opinion.
And when someone does do that, then they can't be trusted easily.
Right. Clearly. And that's why I can't watch certain channels on TV. That's why I don't even watch the news half the time. And I know you're starting to do the same thing because it makes you crazy. It makes us nuts.
I watched a special on Netflix last night, which was a film about skiing, water skiing, and it was a mountain biking. And it had the real people doing this. And no, it was not a story. It was just simply an event. And I had to cleanse my mind.
Yeah. You know what we do? Andrea and I watch Building a Cabin in Maine.
Hi, guys.
Well, why don't you go stay with my friend Jim Boulderbook?
I would love to.
It's a national park there. I mean, his whole thing. He said he's very grateful he's there because no one wants to march on his property.
Yeah.
It's too out of the way.
Yeah, we love Bar Harbor. We went there on vacation once when we were working at NBC. As a matter of fact, we went there with the kids when they were little to Bar Harbor. It's gorgeous, just absolutely.
Well, all of Maine is very remote because it's cold. It's way up there.
It's way up there. Yeah, it is.
And it's the closest place to Europe. Right
yes, in theory, yes, yeah, it is.
Well,
yes.
yeah. So you got a lot of reasons to go elsewhere, but as long as you're in the Garden State where they grow politics and toll booths, isn't that what they grow there?
Hey, and the tolls are going up too.
How could they go up when nobody's got any money?
That's exactly what I said. I could not believe that this governor in this state had the cojones to go ahead. I don't call him a jabroni too, to raise the tolls. And where we live, it's the most traveled part where people drive the most to get to North Jersey and New York and to Atlantic City because we're in the middle of that. And we're the ones that are going to suffer the most if you have to commute. Everything will go up, and people don't have jobs right now. How are they going to even look for a job if they can't afford the freaking toll? Don't get me started. I need a talk show. Joe.
With music. Well, it's been fun. We've hung out and got everybody crazy now.
Yeah, we did. And what a hangout this was today.
Let's give your address so they come over the house.
No. No. Look for the deer and the wild turkeys and a stream. That's the only clues you're going to get. That's
you better
it.
Join Jim and his moose. I think you're in trouble. So what do you say at the end of a political announcement? You say, I'm Donald J. Trump and this is my what? How do they say that?
And I approve this message.
I approve of this message. That's
yes,
it.
I approve of this podcast or whatever we're doing.
All right. Let a smile be your umbrella. Oh, that's Jay Sorensen in case you want to go after him.
Yes.
Look into his taxes too while you're at it.
Yes.
Let a smile be your umbrella, but don't get a mouthful of rain.